Harry Winks. So yeah, it's extraordinary to see the player
Yeah.
that he's become.
I think one of the big takeaways I took from the
Becoming.
match is I didn't get I mistakenly did not set my DVR to record it, so I didn't get a chance to come home and watch it again. But I did see some of the post-match stuff on NBC, and the possession was almost 70-30 for Liverpool. So they controlled the ball, yet every time I looked up, we were outworking them, out hustling them, out sprinting them, maybe save Salah. We simply outworked them. And for them, again, all I've ever seen is they press us the way we like to press teams, and it causes so much turmoil and distress for us in possession. We absolutely destroyed their back line, obliterated them on the counterattack today. I think that if Pochettino could sit back with 30% possession every single match and be able to do what we did rather than trying to break teams down who sit 10 or 11, every player behind the ball, I think he would take that in a heartbeat. He'd chew your arm off for that. This match for me, Sam, we simply outworked them, man. Totally
Yeah.
outworked them.
Yeah, it was a bit different than like midweek, right? Like Pochettino made the comment after the Madrid match that he was going to treat Liverpool sort of, as another Madrid. And I think the possession stats were very similar in the Madrid match. I mean, they had probably 70% of the possession. And I think you could look at that and say Madrid and they are. I mean, they're Real Madrid. I mean, they're a better team than us. We certainly were undeserving, and we certainly had our moments where we could have won that game, particularly late with Kane on goal and Eriksen on goal. But this game was really different. Like I can't remember a game where we, even Timmy said to me like, 3/4 of the way through, he's like, man, I think they have got over 60% possession. I was like, no way, because it just didn't look like it, right?
Right.
Like we just looked so much the better team from the early moments of that game on, and it looked like that we were setting up to do that. And I kind of came home and I was thinking about it. So, the great thing about this team now is developing into a team that can beat you in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I think we were sort of, kind of singular in our approach. Like we just, press, go balls to the wall and flat the pitch, and we're much deeper.
You say that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but remember 3 years ago we were having the discussion about what Southampton fans would say about Pochettino is that you're going to love him to death as your manager, but he never has a plan B. It's 4-2-3-1, and that's what he plays, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
And I have not seen us set up in a 4-2-3-1 in 18 months.
He had an amazing week. I mean, he's had his share of bad games and bad ideas, or maybe some days where he lacked it. But maybe it's because he didn't really have the personality. He hadn't spent the time with these players to be able to, give him for them to show that they can do multiple things or play in different ways. And this week was. I remember watching a video this week of Guillaume Balaguer, and all of the press in the Spanish press was saying that Pochettino beat Zidane in the tactics department. So for all those sort of naysayers, to your point, that say that he only knows how to win one way, that's a garbage notion.
Tim, Terry of Destiny at Cannot Cope on Twitter asks, "Does this Liverpool result?"
Is that really his handle? What a great Twitter handle! Yeah. Damn, I should have thought of that.
At Cannot Cope. Theory of Destiny. It's Deeestiny. Anyway, he asks, does the Liverpool result actually make you a tiny bit more disappointed that we didn't take all 3 points from Madrid at the Bernabeu, or are you just excited to see Real at home?
No, I mean, I'm not disappointed about that. It was a great result against arguably the best team in the world. I mean, I don't think... And we'll get into the Madrid match, but no, to answer the question, I'm not upset about it. And, one thing you didn't mention about our conversation in the pisser is that word you let slip. You said you're excited to see Real Madrid at home.
I did. I called it home. We just talked about this last week, right?
You did not? Yeah. And you were saying last week, I don't refer to it at home. I refer to it as Wembley. But, after this match today, you said, I'm excited to see us play Real Madrid at home. And that just shows how much of a statement win this is to shake that Wembley hoodoo. I mean, look at our last 5 fixtures at Wembley. 4 of them are wins. You beat Dortmund, you beat Barnsley, you beat Bournemouth, you beat Liverpool. We only had the draw against Swansea. But, I mean, this win was an absolute statement win. And I think we can finally push that aside and move forward blaming everything on Wembley and talking about, oh, are we going to be able to cope with Wembley? Like, I think that's been put to rest with this.
Yeah.
Man, there was a lot of pressure today on this being a home match. My God, we had Diego Armando Maradona in the stands. Ozzy was like his ambassador. Saw Chivers up there. I think Phil Beal was up there. I mean, it was a
Kobe
Bryant. Yeah, don't get me started. Glory hunter. You know what we should do? It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Tim, because I was, you know what? I mean, I guess I was thinking that myself because I was like, we should get Daniel Wynn back on because it kind of felt like that we've turned the corner at Wembley now, and to your point, that it does feel like a home. And I thought about like all the things that, because we have such a terrible owner, right? And I think about like the fact that what he's done to make Wembley try to feel like home, the music, the dressing room, the little tunnel that they come in. I mean, all these little nuances that they've tried to do to try to make that place feel as homely as they possibly can. We should get Daniel on and get his take on what he sees, from his experiences being the commentator.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. In fact, San Diego Spurs, headed up by our friend Ben Foreman, asked that given that Kobe Bryant was at Wembley today, if you had to take any basketball player not named Steve Nash, Tim, who would it be and why?
Oh, Allen Iverson.
Why?
I'm not gonna go for the big player. I'm not gonna go for the LeBron, the size, the stature. I just don't think that could hold up for a full 90 minutes. But if you want to talk about someone who's gonna play with some flair, who's gonna try and match Delly for nutmegs, I think Iverson would be a joy to watch. Just the smaller stature, just zipping around the pitch, doing rainbows over people's head. I mean, I think it'd be great. That's who I would go with.
Yeah, but you can't ask him about practice, right?
Practice.
It's practice.
Yeah, you can't ask him about practice.
Man, we talking practice.
Hey, did you see Ledley's post on Twitter?
No.
Prior to the match
about Kobe?
No. So you're talking about Wembley and the feeling of it. He did post about Kobe, and he took a picture with him. But prior to the match, or I guess it was during it, he put out this picture of the pitch during the game, and he said Wembley's got the feel of the lane today. Amazing atmosphere.
Broke a record. Broke a Premier League tennis record today.
I was going to say, with 80,000 plus supporters that actually showed up, because they don't count ticket sales in the Premier League. They count turnstiles. So 80,000 in that place today. Set a Premier League record, as Sam alluded to. Amazing. And it's going to get better, because we still haven't played the Arsenal yet, and United and some of these other bigger teams. Chelsea was so
United
on.
did a big one.
Hey,
can we go back to Kobe? Because I want to ask you guys a question. Because I'm bitter about this. I'm bitter. I'm genuinely bitter that he showed up today. Now, I mean, maybe partly I'm bitter because I've never been a big Kobe fan. Number one. Number two is I always kind of hated seeing the star guys like prance around holding the Barcelona shirt. I mean, to me, he grew up in Italy. I would have thought that he'd be holding up. I don't know where he grew up in Italy, but I would have thought that he would have had a favorite team there, and that he would have been, glomming around holding up that shirt. But no, he was at New Camp or Camp Nou? I always get but anyway, but you get my point. So he's always there holding up Messi's shirt, all that shit. So now, right, that we're now the sexy club, and we're the up and coming, and it's kind of cool to be Spurs. He shows up, and I'm like, fuck you. Where have you been?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I'm just bitter and jaded and old and grumpy, or I don't know.
Sam,
what do you guys?
Here's the thing.
I think you're old and grumpy. I think you're old and grumpy.
For fuck's sake. I mean, have you seen you? I mean, really.
I'm old. I don't know. I mean, it had me off, and I ended up looking like a fool on Twitter because it's like, where have you been? Like, and
you do understand that this is going to get worse. You do understand it's going to get worse because as this team maintains. And this relationship we have with the NFL now, and that new stadium gets built, it's going to be like that. There are going to be people coming out of the woodwork, people that are finishing their careers that maybe want to start their broadcasting or punditry career with NBC or whatnot, and they're going to be looking for the next big hot thing. And guess what? It's Tottenham.
So he was glory hunting today.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so I just went on his Twitter. I think he's just over on vacation because he visited PSG. He's posting things about him and Edison Cavani and Neymar and Mbappe. So I think he's just on vacation, stopping by, checking out the big clubs, and I think it's something to feel proud of that of all the games he could have gone to in England, he decides to come watch Tottenham.
But had Liverpool won 4-1, would he have shown up in their dressing room as opposed to ours?
Probably. I would say probably.
Get him out of my club. All right, sorry. I just want to get y'all's thoughts on that.
We already have John Cena. We don't need anybody else.
Right, yeah. We don't need Kobe.
Martin C., who is at Martin C. Spurs 78. This is an interesting question. He asks, and I'll start with you, Tim, on this one. How many automatic starters do we have now? So if you go to the lineup and you start penciling in every week, week in, week out, if they're healthy, they're playing. That's a really good question, man. We are really deep right now.
I know Martin C. That's a very Martin C-like question.
What do you think, Tim? Let's go through it.
I'm trying to add it up. So okay, yeah, let's go. Well, here, let's start at the back. You got Hugo. He's starting.
1.
Toby.
Yep.
And Jan.
Yep.
They're starting. I think you could say Sanchez as well.
Yep.
I agree. He hasn't missed a start since he came in.
So they're starting.
Yep.
I don't think you could say any of the wingbacks are a locked-on starter. Okay. None of the center defensive mids are a locked-on starter.
Okay.
And then you got Christian and Harry. I think you can only say no. I don't think Dele's a locked-on starter
if he's healthy and available.
No, because it depends on. I think it depends on who's available in the center defensive mid, what type of formation we're going with. If you're going to go with 2 up top, I think there's a lot of factors. And I mean, he hasn't been at his full potential this season.
Yeah, but he hasn't started. Yeah, he's started every game. He's been healthy, Timmy.
No, I'm not saying he hasn't started every game. I'm saying he hasn't been performing to his full potential. So if you're telling me a locked-on starter, I don't know. Maybe when Lamela comes back, he takes a seat on the bench. Who knows? I know.
Well, hey, let me kind of quick. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to expound upon that because I think you made a really.
No, but I'm just thinking, just given his performances this season, I don't think you can say he is locked on as a starter. And if I can only see 6 that are for sure every week.
So today was a bit of a mean reversion for him. He played in a role that was really kind of his role when he started out with us.
Yes.
Right? More of a deep lying midfielder where he was really more involved with creation of play
and defensive responsibility.
And it just seemed like that he was so much more involved in the game that he knew that more was asked of him, and as a result, he showed more. I think that was one of, if not his best games for us this year. So my question to you two is, was Dyer being out being a blessing in disguise for him? Really 3 questions. What do we do going forward? And why didn't Dyer start today?
I think Dyer did not start today because of the success we had at the Bernabeu playing with 2 strikers. And if you're going to play one, you want the fastest guy on the pitch. That if you're going to play one person in that center holding midfield role, and that's Winks. He's not flattering to deceive. He's not the sexiest player on the pitch. He will make the errant pass or the error, but he has that, and forgive me for referencing him, but that Lamela-esque work rate that if he does give up the ball, which he did about 2 or 3 times today, he's immediately attacking to go get that ball back, and he did all 3 times that I saw him lose possession today. You're not going to get that out of Dyer or even a healthy Wanyama or Dembele right away. So, man, I don't know. That's a really interesting take. Tim, I'm really interested in what you have to say on this one.
I mean, I didn't even think of it that way, but I would agree with you. Playing the 2 up top, I think,
someone
that
has
could be.
Sit.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look at it. He's played a lot of football lately. He went on international break. He played. He's been playing a lot. I mean, at some point, you're going to need the rest, especially with the fixture congestion that we have, playing twice a week.
Well, let me stop you real quick. He's going to have a night off Wednesday, for sure, or he should have. I mean, you would think that he's not going to play on Wednesday.
Who's that, Winksy?
You wouldn't. Oh, I was talking about Dyer.
Dyer, okay. Well, why wouldn't he play Wednesday?
Well, I mean, I just don't think you really. I'm not sure you really need him to, do you? And then if you're ever going to play a player like Dyer, if he is your best central defensive midfielder because you don't have Dembele, you don't have Wanyama, I was really shocked that he wasn't playing, and I'd heard that he was just sick.
That's why you might need him to play on Wednesday. Is you don't have Dembele, you don't have Wanyama, and are you going to rest Toby or Jan at all? Because if you are, then you probably need to slide him back to a center back position.
Yeah,
You know?